The wonders of technology.
Sorry about that.
It's okay, don't worry about it. I'd rather get it
This is still
corrected.
less problems than when we have with Toby. It's all something.
Toby's always talking about his pale skin,
and he is pale, isn't he?
He's a pale motherfucker. What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 21 of the Geekcast. I am Bobby, the Geek Guru, joined yet again by my good friends. We've got Alan here. I almost called you Toby, but I forgot Toby wasn't here. I'm so used to going Toby first, but I got Alan from the wonderful land of Scotland. So what's up?
I'm better looking than Toby. Hello. There you go. I've said it. It's out there now.
He's better.
Sorry, Toby.
Better looking and twice the ego. And then, since Toby's not here, and we'll get into that in a second, but we brought in Miguel back yet again, our buddy. How you doing, Miguel?
I'm doing well, thank you.
For those that are wondering, pretty much we are under a MacBook master race right now because Toby has PC and it completely crashed on him and went to hell this morning. And the three standing are MacBooks, so good job, Apple. I say that now as all three systems go down.
Right.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. We have good computers, we just don't have good internet, so it is what it is. But let's kick this episode off like we do every episode with our geek outs. And Alan, I'm going to throw it to you. What are you geeking out about?
I'm geeking out about the X-Men Apocalypse trailer that launched yesterday.
I did not see that. Is it? What had you hyped up about it?
You know what? I watched it, and it's kind of coming off the back of the terrible Fantastic Four movie that kind of appeared and then disappeared as quickly. It just kind of shows again Bryan Singer's the go-to guy to direct X-Men movies. You know, it's darker tone. He seems to be finding a better balance with the kind of humor and the dark. But just coming off of Days of Future Past, which I thought was going to be a disaster, from the moment I heard the storyline, seeing all the set photos leak, it just looked like it was going to be a complete mess, and then it came out and it was brilliant. And I think going off that, he's kind of on another uptick. You know?
So what that's basically telling people is to calm down with all the set photos that were leaked earlier with all the Suicide Squad stuff.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, well, I was negative about Suicide Squad till I saw that trailer as well, but a lot of folk were negative about the way Apocalypse looks, because in the photos he looks really Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers movie, but when you see it...
really garbage.
Yeah, but when you see it lit in the film, everything looks darker. It's all about, you know...
It's about the lighting and stuff. Like, you see someone walking around, like, I look like garbage outside of now, you know what I mean? But like under the lighting and stuff, like I look good under the cameras, you know? It's just
this is you looking good.
Wow.
God help you if I ever meet you in person.
Wow, you know what, man? You're brutal.
You look like a death claw in
over
real
there,
life.
over there with the ego.
You know what, Alan? I have to agree with you 100%.
But no, that's my geek out.
Okay, so Miguel, what are you geeking out about this week?
Two things. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I'm just I'm looking more at the hype of the people dressing up, people getting ready to watch the movie. I hope the movie is as good as the original series. You know, George Lucas, he watched it and he kept his opinions really quiet. He alluded that there were some things he would have done differently, but yeah, but he didn't want to say it. I guess everybody has to watch it and see it for themselves. But it's very interesting. I'm looking forward to watching that. And then, you know, the new updates on the Batman versus Superman movie.
Yeah.
I just hope that, I mean, it looks good, but I just hope that they don't have so many superheroes that it gets, you know, it becomes one big mess. You understand what I mean? With all these characters. I just hope that the movie is seamless, that they introduce the characters like Wonder Woman, etc. You know, not just throw her in there. And so that's but
because you got to be careful now because you're treading on thin ice with Alan. Alan's going to jump in here and start tearing the trailer apart and everything if we're not careful because he's a DC hater. And
I'm not a DC hater. You're misrepresenting me.
I'm not
I
misrepresenting anything. It's how you are.
I didn't like that trailer. It was a good trailer, but it showed too much. I stand by it.
So myself, I'm going to change up what I was going to geek out about, but I'm actually geeking out about. I watched Arrow yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And I'm all caught up. That was the mid-season finale, and now I'm like, I can't wait for Legends of Tomorrow. I think it's going to be a great show, but everything's geared up for it. I don't want to say anything really. What has me geeking out, like there's one part at the end, so I'm not going to get into that. But the only thing I'm going to say is I just hope that, and I know it's not. I just wish what they make you believe is happening did happen. So I'll just leave it at that.
Oh man, I've not watched it yet, and now like I'm doing this damn podcast. I need to watch Arrow.
You need to watch it. But when Alan, text me when you're done watching, and I'll tell you exactly what I'm hoping for.
Okay.
So we're going to move into what we're playing. Miguel, let's kick it to you first. What are you playing this week?
Well, since I love Destiny, I've been playing the new update, the Destiny Sparrow Racing game.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was afraid it was going to be like this Mario Kart-like game, and it's not like that. It has a little bit of stuff like that, but it's basically straight-out racing, and then you have to do a few missions to get a few prizes, and then if you are in the top running, you'll get weapons, armor, special weapons at a very high level. So it's very interesting, and then you can buy emotes, they call it, where you could buy special dances and things like that. So I mean, it's okay. I mean, I enjoy it. It's a little bit frustrating, but nonetheless, I enjoy it.
Now, have you started playing on PS4 yet?
Not at all.
But you have the game, right?
I have the game for the PS4, and I've been playing the Xbox One.
Now, you know what amazes me is with you on this is as much as a big fan you are of Destiny, like it's basically put its hooks in you pretty hard because every time we talk, you're always playing it, or you love it a lot. I'm surprised you didn't jump on the PS4 version since a lot of stuff comes there first, and you get more exclusive stuff there.
Eventually, it trickles down to the Xbox One.
Well, yeah, eventually, but I just figured you would want it like right away and to get your hands on it. But I think after Christmas, I'm probably going to dive into that a little bit. I think it all depends on what Xenoblade does to me, how bad that locks me down. But I'm probably heading that way. What about you, Alan? What are you playing?
I'm still working my way through Just Cause 3.
I know what you're not playing.
Yeah, I'm not playing SteamWorld Heist, but again, I have to give a big thank you to Bobby and Toby, despite his Hobbit-like features not being with us today. For those that don't know, it was my birthday yesterday, the 12th, and they kindly
happy belated birthday.
Thank you. They gifted me some money for eShop, so I got SteamWorld Heist, and however, due to social events, I was unable to play it. So my plan is to get stuck into it tonight.
Everything should stop once SteamWorld Heist comes into your life, but you don't see it that way, apparently. This is why Julius and Brian don't like you. I'm just letting you know. I'm just telling you.
They don't like me?
No, they don't.
That hurts my feelings.
And they told me point blank that we don't like Alan because Alan's not playing SteamWorld Heist.
I'm going to tweet Julius right now during the show and ask if he doesn't like me.
He didn't. Sad, I'm just teasing. I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
How can they not like me? Look at me. I'm awesome. I'm funny. I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I'm good looking.
The ego.
Are
you still enjoying Just Cause 3?
I am. I can see now the repetitive nature of liberating the kind of areas, but I find the great thing for that is I can put a podcast on, avoid the story completely, and just go around liberating them. And then when I fancy just delving in, just jump to the story locations. It's kind of what I did with Metal Gear Solid 5. Once I got the story out of the way, put my headphones in and just start going through some of the other side missions. So
yeah,
I'm enjoying it for what it is. So
that's good. Myself, I've been dabbling in Splatoon this week. They have a new Splatfest coming up, I believe, next week. So I picked my team. I'm on Team Naughty. It's Team Naughty or Team Nice. I took Naughty. I just figured there's going to be a lot of people picking Naughty, so I'd rather get the numbers on my side. Although I picked Team Pizza last time, and we got crushed. We had 63% of the vote. Like, that was the popular vote. More people like pizza than they do hamburgers. But we got smoked. we were getting beat everywhere you turn around. So, and it seemed that way. Like when I played against Team Burger, it just seemed like Team Pizza were a bunch of noobs, man. They didn't know what they were doing. I'm scoring 1,000 points, and these guys are barely scoring 200 points, and I'm like, we can't win matches this way, guys. Like, you're gonna get this. This is horrible. So Splatoon I've been dabbling with. Obviously, SteamWorld Heist. Love that game. I've got I'm pushing 30 hours in it now already.
Wow, good.
I've beat the game. I'm on New Game Plus. I love this game. I can't speak highly enough of it, so I'll just stop there. People know how much I rave about this game. And then last night I started playing Ollie 2. That game is fun. It's just a carefree, mindless game. If you're trying to complete it, it's tough. It's not an easy game, but it's fun. It's just a cool little layback game. I've actually been playing it. I started playing it on my. I actually played Ollie 1 on my Wii U and on my 3DS. So then when I saw Ollie 2, it was on sale on PlayStation 4. They had a great sale. I guess they got like each week leading up to Christmas is just great sale. So last week I picked up Ollie 2 for like $4, $3, something like that. So I was like, I'll get it. And then so I started on the PS4, but then I switched to my Vita, and I'm liking it a lot more on my Vita. It just seems like the controls are a little bit. I think that there's a delay in my TV. I got to figure out how to turn it on game when I'm playing games. It's just not the reaction time just isn't there, and it's off, and I'm not a fan of it at all. So that's pretty much it. Okay, so we're going to move on now. We're going to move into our first topic of the day. And Tuesday, the 15th, Nintendo has announced that they're going to do the final Smash announcement. It's got people up in arms because they're not sure if it's the final one for good or just the final one for the year. But regardless, that's not what we're getting into. What I want to know is, we're going to start with this. What is the one character that you believe they're going to announce during this event? Alan, I'll start with you. What's one character you think is getting announced?
I think we can take quite solidly that Shovel Knight is going to be announced.
Okay, let's do this. Let's take Shovel Knight off the table because all of us probably believe Shovel Knight.
I love Shovel Knight.
So beyond, everybody pretty much is predicting Shovel Knight. Beyond Shovel Knight, who would you pick to be the one that you think is going to go?
Well, I wouldn't have said this had it not been for recently this kind of whole. Phil Spencer made some comments recently about Rare Replay. Now, they've always said they were open to their franchises appearing in Smash, so I think it's a strong probability that we will see Banjo-Kazooie as a playable character in Smash Brothers.
If we see Banjo-Kazooie, I think the internet explodes. I think you're going to have people going ape. Like it's going to be insane if they announce that. I could get behind that. Miguel, what about you? What's one that you think?
Other than Shovel Knight, I was thinking about Metal Gear, the return of the character from Metal Gear.
Oh, Snake.
Snake.
Yeah.
So that's my other prediction. And then like my third place one, I would say Rusty.
Hold on, I said one. I didn't say a bunch. Okay. I said one, just one. All right.
He gets two. I want two.
No, you're not.
Oh Lord.
You get one. That's it. Who? I did this to myself because I had Shovel Knight in my head, and then when I thought about it, I said that's the obvious one. Mm-hmm. I think it's been. Well, I'll tell you what I would like, and I'm just going to use it as what I think, but I don't. What I'd like to see, it'll change this. Let's man, I'm all over the board. Okay, I think Shantae will probably get picked.
That's possible
as the third. Now, those three are what we think are likely to get picked. Give me one that you want to see picked. And if it's Shovel Knight, you could say Shovel Knight at this point because this is what you really want.
I want to say Rusty.
All right, so Miguel's going to say Rusty, and then Alan, what about you?
I'm going to go different. I think Banjo's like my left field. Love to see it. I think would be cool to see at Bayonetta because of the
Oh
partnership we've
yes.
got with Platinum. I think Platinum need to be represented in Smash Bros. And I think Bayonetta, okay, if they tone down some of the nudity,
Well, yeah,
then that could,
but the thing of it is and Bayonet is actually my choice too. So what I think, I mean, obviously I want Shovel Knight. I would love to see Rusty, but I really want to see Bayonetta because I think that she brings in a different type of character. She brings in a strong female lead. She's a badass, straight
Yes,
up.
she is.
So, and I think that people are like, oh, there's no way, it's too sexual and this and that. If you look at Bayonetta 1 and then you look at Bayonetta 2, there's a drastic difference. Huge difference. She's very sexual, overtoned in Bayonetta 1. Bayonetta 2, she makes some comments, but they don't need to, like, it's nothing in comparison. I believe, I feel. Like, when I played Bayonetta 2, like, I heard all this stuff. I read the Polygon review, and I thought, wow, this is going to be a bad game. I might be embarrassed to play this in front of my wife. And I played the whole thing, and I was like, what's the deal? Now, I went back and played Bayonetta 1 after I played Bayonetta 2, and then I was like, okay, I get where you're coming from. But nothing in comparison, I feel. I feel 2 was just, there were some comments she made and things like that, but I don't think it was that bad. I think she would be great, it never hurts to add another female lead. I hope they don't give us Linkle. I'm not a fan of that character at all. I understand the gist of it and all that, but, like, if you, like, I feel like in another franchise, Sheik is your strong female lead. Like, that's, in this other franchise, that's the one. Like, Link, I'm sure there's girls that are happy about it. I'm sure, and that's fine. I'm not taking anything from it. I just felt like if you wanted to push something stronger, push Sheik. Because
I agree. Because it's like, I'm sorry, it's like Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse.
Yeah.
Understand? And then you have Link and Linkle. No.
I just think that Linkle's just. First off, the name is horrible. Like, they should just let it Link if they were going to make a female Link. Just leave it Link. That Linkle just makes it sound weird. I think that's what I have. I think I have more of a baby. Honestly, I have more of a problem with the name than I do the character. I think the character looks cool, and I think the weapon she has and stuff looks
badass.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But as far as, like, the name, it's just like, come on, that's the best you got.
I think if you were to do you mentioned Banjo, you're like, that'll be the internet exploding. I think if you were to have the internet explode, would be if you had Mickey Mouse from Kingdom Hearts 3 showing up in Smash Brothers, Nintendo characters versus Disney. That would cause the internet to fully blow and just shut down.
I think the one that would make it explode is if Master Chief showed up.
That would be nice. I would love that.
If they were like, Master Chief is in Smash, that place would go ballistic. Because I think now, and I think this is the problem, them letting Cloud in kind of like...
opened the door.
Well, not that. It took the lid off the internet's mind. And now the expectations are way up here. And knowing Nintendo, they're going to give us this. And it's going to be like, we're going to get like King K. Rool and garbage. Like ones that aren't like really, like ones that don't get you excited. I know a lot of people want King K. Rool, but he just doesn't do it for me. I'm just like,
I do think if they could lock Banjo-Kazooie down, you would have the nostalgia trip, the fanboys coming back. It would just, and I wouldn't have said it if it hadn't been for, like you say, Cloud and then the Phil Spencer comments.
Well, not only that, like, did you see the tweet yesterday that went up?
No,
that's a big news thing. Apparently, someone tweeted Microsoft Studios and said, "Hey, can we get Rare Replay?"
Oh yeah, no, I did see that.
And Microsoft Studios was basically like, "Yeah, we're fine with that, but you got to talk to Rare." And they tagged Rare in it. So.
And then you've got like Minecraft coming to Wii U. All this stuff. It's like, for me, it's like in my mind, there's this perfect storm for Banjo or Rare characters to show up in Smash Brothers again, which would be amazing.
If I would like Banjo to be there, I really would. I feel like Duck Hunt Dog is kind of a similar character, other than Banjo stands upright, so you could do that. But with Kazooie and all that stuff, it's kind of plays right in,
It's true.
Now, do you think that we could get Ukulele? Or do you think
Oh,
ukulele?
the newer characters?
Yeah.
Ukulele, possibly.
It's a probability, but it depends how, because that would be.
I think it depends if they get banjo or not.
Yeah.
But
Ukulele would be interesting, but banjo definitely will bring in the old school crowd.
oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine how many amiibo they would sell?
Oh, can you imagine? Oh my God! Speaking of amiibo, that's going to be part of it. Surely.
Wait a minute. We're going to get into that now. Let me steer the ship here, right? Alan? I got all this stuff going, all right? Just take it
Sorry,
easy.
the ego gets in the way sometimes.
You're trying to jump the ship, man. You're trying to jump ahead. So, okay, so we're all on board that we were like banjo. What about Snake? What do you think happens if Snake gets announced?
Yeah.
I think the internet gives a massive shrug. We've been there.
I don't think they may give a massive shrug. I think they get excited, but then I think you go through what I went through last week, the back and forth. Like, it's exciting, but do we give an FU to Konami and not buy the DLC?
Yeah.
And the amiibo? And I won't buy the DLC, but I'll buy the amiibo.
Yeah. Bobby's predicament in life.
I honestly think it's a weird position to be in. And then Shantae, I think Shantae's been, a lot of people have been calling for that and clamoring for that. So I think that's one that's definitely on the horizon. What amiibo gets announced, do you think? Now now let's take the preference with this. We know that whatever characters they announce will get amiibo at some point. But during this event, if they discuss amiibo, what are the names that get announced?
I think we'll get firm. Well, you see, I think there was a leak already about Ryu and Roy. I think if they're doing this as the last Smash kind of direct, they will just come out and say these are the characters, these are the amiibo, and they'll have staggered release dates. So I don't know if we'll get them as a bundle. You get all the characters at once, or you'll get the amiibo and the characters kind of staggered, because they did take a while to get Mewtwo out there as well, if we remember. So
Mewtwo was pretty quick. I feel like Mewtwo was pretty quick in the grand scheme of things. Like, they announced Mewtwo, and then the next week or the next event, like was it a month later or something, they announced Lucas was going in the game, and then they showed off the Mewtwo amiibo, announced that he was coming out, didn't they?
I can't remember. Amiibo, it's like a drunk haze to me.
Yeah, I know. It seems like it's been 20 years that we've been doing this, and it's only been a year. So here's what I think. I think they're gonna announce Cloud, like right off Jump Street. Yeah. I think they're gonna be like, hey, listen, Cloud's here. Also, here's his amiibo, and you'll be able to get him whenever, and it can be months down the line or whatever it may be. But I think we're definitely leading into a good direction with that. Yeah. All right. So let's move. Do you guys have anything else before I move on? Do you guys have anything else to add to that, or?
I don't.
Okay.
Stop.
No, stop. Don't no. Okay. So the next topic we wanted to talk about is we're getting ready to move into when the Geekcast picks our game of the year. And just so everybody knows, the idea is Christmas falls on Friday the 25th. Either the 26th or the 27th, we will be recording our episode. And then at that point, we will be announcing who we feel is the Geekcast game of the year. So just to put a little preference to this. Now, Toby was supposed to be part of this. And, I was kind of interested because him and Alan were kind of going back and forth in our group chat, but doesn't matter. I don't want to lose the topic. So I'll start with you, Alan. This is what I'm going to do. I want one game, then we're going to go Miguel, then me, then you, and we're going to keep it short. So Miguel, don't read off your whole list. Just give me
just one.
Just one.
Yeah.
So Alan, go ahead. What's your first game in your top three?
I'm going to start with Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay.
For me. I kind of fell off the Metal Gear bandwagon after Metal Gear Solid 2. Mm-hmm. And then obviously Twin Snakes. I didn't get gripped by 3. I didn't get gripped by 4 either. And then there's just something about this made me want to try it, and it did keep my attention for a good few hours. I mean, you know how I was playing that game, and had it not just been for the online stuff that kind of put me off, and just obviously the Konami issue, their meddling, the way the structure of the side missions was just repeating yourself over and over, I would have kept going and going, but it just kind of got grindy. But for me, that game allowed me a huge sandbox. This is your objective, go and do it, and we don't care how you do it. And I loved that, because then I could just play each mission the way I wanted. So for me, that was it. It was the of all the open world games we've had, that offered me something I was interested in playing, and an interesting way to play it. So,
Miguel, what is your first pick for Game of the Year?
I also agree with Alan, because I chose Metal Gear Solid on my list for the same reasons, because it was great to play, but then when Konami's got their hands on it, it was just like it became mundane.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the same missions. So
yeah,
I picked Metal Gear Solid.
I did originally, leading into this, had Metal Gear Solid on my list prior, but I recently removed them off the list. My first game that I'm going to put on there is Splatoon, and I feel like Splatoon is just a lot of fun. I put many hours into it. The group in all, we had a lot of fun with it, minus the voice chat didn't matter. But if I had to go back now and play, because I've really got the bug back again, I've been playing it a lot lately, the game has totally changed from that launch. That launch game was one thing. This is a totally different animal now, and they did it right. You know, they didn't just say like, "Boom, here's everything, go have at it." The slow release, the slow trickle was perfect in my mind. I feel like they basically told us like, "Hey, you just have to have faith. You're going to pay $60 up front. There's not a lot of content to it, but by the time we're done, it's going to be this great game." And it was. By all means, it was perfect. I think there's a couple of things that aren't great about it, and voice chat's definitely one of them. But as far as, and I feel like voice chat is not needed when you're just doing the regular game. I feel like when you're doing ranked play, that's when you have to have voice chat. But otherwise, I think it's great. I think it's gonna be, I think it's a good game.
yeah.
Alan, your second game, where are you at?
This one, there may be some contention because I didn't complete it, but I played through some of it. But it didn't grab me at story level, so if I'm not interested by the story, generally I leave it. But it's going to be The Witcher 3.
Okay.
And it's primarily because of the world they created in the game, dense, but also CD Projekt Red, where kind of everything they did with that game flew in the face of everything we'd seen from the other big game that year, which was Arkham Knight, and it was the free DLC content at the beginning. You know, it was the commitment to releasing what felt like a massively complete product. I think with Arkham it felt disjointed and it felt incomplete at launch. It's like, here's your main story, but hey, have all this extra. And overall, when you actually look at all the games that came out last year, this year, The Witcher 3 is probably up there with how the industry should be treating the gamer when it comes to content, but also releasing a game that, okay, yeah, it had its bugs, which they've patched, but, out of the box, played great. Yeah. Okay, story-wise, it wasn't for me, but that's just me. Yeah. And just creating that kind of world to just explore, find new things, that's what was interesting about that game. So contentious, maybe, but I loved it for what it was.
Miguel, what is your second pick?
We're on the same page here, but for the sake of saying the same game, which I do like, The Witcher 3. I've been playing it. I never played the previous versions of it, but this one was really good. I'm gonna go with Super Mario Maker.
Okay.
I think Super Mario Maker was ingenious. It makes you feel the nostalgia of the past when you were a child playing Mario games.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great way of getting people together and play it. I just love it. Yeah. I just love to make it, Super Mario Maker.
I feel like with Mario Maker, it's a great game. I feel like it's got its flaws, kind of like Splatoon.
Oh yeah, it's like
just the search process is a pain. Like I tried to play yesterday and trying to find levels, it was like I played 2 levels and was like, I'm done, I'm out. And it was adult move level. I can't stand them things. Like, you just sit there and you're watching. I'm like, I'm not even
And you
playing.
watch the whole character move.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that's.
That was the first one I played, and then I played another one that was impossible to even touch, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do this, and I shut it down. I was like, I'm done. So, my second game is Arkham Knight, and that game for me was, as a Batman fan, it basically wrote a love letter to me and was like, do you remember everything that you loved about Batman growing up? Here's the storyline. And without giving spoilers or anything like that, like, I knew the first time I listened to the Arkham Knight talk to Batman who he was, just because of the tone and the things he was saying, but it didn't change anything for me. I just loved it the whole time. People had issues with the Batmobile. There was only a couple times I had issues with the Batmobile. My biggest issue was to see the final ending. You had to complete all those Riddler missions. So, but that didn't take, you know, and at first when we did our midway point episode, were you part of that, Alan?
I can't remember because I was in and out a lot then.
Yeah, I think that was Mark. I know Mark was in on that one. I think it was me, Toby, and Mark.
Yeah.
And at that point, I didn't pick Batman as the one game, and my reason being was I was like, I don't, this Riddler stuff and all this, and when I thought about it going back, I was like, why am I allowing that one part that doesn't mean anything to the storyline truly affect what I feel about this game? Because that game, when I was playing in the middle of it, was just, there was parts where it almost invoked tears because I started seeing things take place that I read as a young kid and didn't see the emotion behind it. Like, when you're reading a book, you're reading a comic book, like, you see it, but it doesn't invoke that. Doesn't always. Sometimes it does, but it doesn't seem to hit that tone. But when you're watching, the Oracle Joker scene from The Killing Joke play out in front of you, and it's like, oh my god. And then all the stuff, just, there were some parts that hit, and I was just, there was on more than one occasion, I was just sitting there staring at the screen like, holy cow, did this just happen? So I feel like they did a great job. Rocksteady did a great job with it. So that's my number 2. Alan, what's your number 3?
I was a bit stuck on this one, and as I sit here now, I'm still stuck on my number 3. I don't get to play a lot of games, so I pick them. And one of the games that this year I kind of enjoyed more than I think I should have was Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Yeah.
I know, and all I could think is when I was looking through the list, because I looked at all the games that came out, and it was the ones that stood out to me, that was the first one that I went, I don't think I've actually sat with a game and smiled, apart from maybe Yoshi's Woolly World ear to ear.
Yeah.
But I loved the way that the puzzles got a little bit, as it started really easy, and I thought, oh god, no, this is going to be the Kirby's Epic Yarn all over again.
Yeah.
And then there's this sudden, just, it starts to slowly peak up and get harder and harder.
Yeah.
And then you complete them, and then you get Toadette, and then you're playing all the kind of, and it's just like, you know what? Yeah, new IP, came out of a side game from a Mario game, and they managed to make it something that kept me interested. So I'm going to throw that in there as a curveball.
I think what's cool about that game too is when you do complete it, when you actually go back and try to, when you realize, like, okay, you beat it, but you didn't get all the stars, and then you go back and you get all the stars, and then you realize there's a time trial as well on every level. And when you try to accomplish those time trials, it's insane how difficult it is, but it's awesome. Yeah, so that's a good one. Miguel, what's your number 3?
Definitely Fallout 4.
Ugh.
Fallout 4. I love it because it's just crazy. It's like it's free roaming. You get to make decisions. You can make weapons. I mean, there's humor that you can laugh. Like, it's like underlining humor, and then there's like Easter eggs all over the place. I just love it. I just love it overall.
Me and Alan both are not fans of it. We both bought it.
Right.
I traded mine in. And Alan, did you trade yours in, or you still got it?
I traded it in and got Just Cause 3. It didn't grab me.
It didn't click for me, and I see why people love it, and I've said that all along. I get why people that are fans of that series are fans of that series. It's just not me. And maybe if I had picked it up at the very beginning, then I wouldn't be so against it. But I just felt like it just didn't speak to me in the way these other games did. Okay, so my final game really shouldn't come at the shock of anybody, but it's SteamWorld Heist. And the reason why I say that is a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to have an indie game on my list because I feel like we're at a point now, and these guys push it to show it, that really we need to start showing the indie developers much more love. And we need to show them the respect of, you're not, yes, you're an indie developer, but you're a game developer. And this nonsense of, oh, that's good for an indie game or whatever, we're beyond that at this point. Like, they are great game developers. Like, this game is so much fun, and the mechanics. The one thing that I love about this is, as you're playing, I can go and play a level and die. Go back to that same level, and that level is not the same level. It shifts and moves stuff around. So the enemies I faced might not be there this time. The location of the treasure boxes might not be there this time. So it could do one of two things. It could make the level easier, or it could make the level harder. I said I got 30 hours into this game already, give or take. Beat the game once. I'm on New Game Plus. And it's, if you're a collector, they got hats. The hats are cool. You can shoot the hats off people, or you can go to the stores and buy them. So it's kind of neat too, because when you shoot their hat off, they get disgruntled with you. So I am really thoroughly enjoying this game. Like I said, 30 hours in, and I'm still got the itch. I'm going back. Doesn't help that Brian trolled me a little bit the other day, because I thought I had 3 gold stars, and he's like, "Oh, you got a gold and 2 bronzes. Good job." And I was like, I looked at it and I go, "Oh man, he's right. It's not 3 golds." And I was like, so it's just the color. It looks similar. I don't know. So I'm like, oh, yeah.
I don't know about you, Bobby, but my game of the year's caveat is we've got Xenoblade X still to.
Yeah, and that's what I figured too. Like after Christmas, like Toby has a game. He's putting some more time into it. I will play the game before we do the show, so that way I can get some time into it. But it's definitely, I'm feeling like these are the 3. And then also what we're going to do is, just so people know, in the Geek Guru Facebook group, I'm actually going to do a poll and let the people in the group pick their game of the year, and we'll announce that on the show as well. So
that's a good one.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this up with one final topic. And basically, something that I've been seeing a lot in and around NX is people are basically saying, like, I'm a huge fan of Nintendo, or I love Nintendo, and the but is consistently, if we don't get Metroid, I won't buy NX. If we don't get this, I won't buy NX. If we don't get this game, I'm not going to buy NX. And if it's like this, I'm not going to buy it. And it's like, you're all excited for NX. You have all this stuff coming forward, and then all of a sudden you're going to go, if this, and this don't line up, I'm not buying it, and I don't want nothing to do with it. If virtual console games just don't carry over, I'm not going to buy it. And it's like, okay, my question is to them people, are you a fan of Nintendo or that franchise? Because I feel like you can't be both. Either you're a fan of Nintendo or you're a fan of the franchise. And if you're really going to buy a $300 system or a $200 system for one game, it just makes me scratch my head. So what do you guys take?
I'll let you go, Miguel.
I think that I agree with the choice of franchise versus the system. But there are some people that are so passionate that they want Nintendo to come up with their, in full force. Like, I wouldn't mind to see a Metroid game. I mean, I will still buy an NX. Mm-hmm. I just want to see what Nintendo's going to take this to the next level, what the next level will be. I know that it'll have to be affordable, and chances are they may or may not include the Wii U like controllers or the Wii controller, the Wii U controller itself. But I think because people are just passionate, they're going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to buy the system because Metroid's not there." Guaranteed that once the game hits, they'll buy the system.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people that's just talking out of from the other end, and once the game comes out, they're going to buy the system. That's what happened when they're saying, "If Smash Brothers doesn't come out for Wii U, I'm not getting the system." And look, Smash Brothers comes out, and everybody buys the system for that game.
Yeah.
So,
what about you, Alan?
I think this is a bad attitude to have, and it's what's kind of been negative towards the Wii U. It's they want these games. You can't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
If you want them to make the game, they need to have an incentive to pour the millions of dollars into development. The reason we didn't see a Metroid game is on the Wii U is twofold. One, Retro Studios wanted to do a Donkey Kong sequel. That's one factor.
mm-hmm.
The second factor is they've got an install base of 10 million units worldwide. Are they really going to pour, $40 million, $50 million into a game like that, where the audience usually only buys 1 million copies?
Yeah.
Which means that by percentage, there's going to be less copies of that game sold. I mean, is it Mario Kart 8, the best Mario Kart they've ever made,
Yes.
is also the worst performing Mario Kart they've ever had because it's on the Wii U.
Yeah.
People that say, I'm going to buy X because of one franchise, it's a very silly buy. 300 quid for one game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy any console for one game. I buy with the idea I'm going to have multiple games. If you want Nintendo to make that game, buy the system in advance, and then all going well, they will make Metroid. I think Metroid's a foregone conclusion, but don't sit there condescending to folks saying, I'm not going to buy it until I get what I want. Well, if you want what you want, you need to buy the system.
Well, that's where I'm going to go with this, because here's my feeling. If you look at the GameCube didn't sell a lot of consoles, sold a decent amount of consoles. You got 2 Metroids for that GameCube. It did not help sell systems.
No.
Now, the Wii, in comparison, sold through the roof. It was 100-something million systems.
Yep.
You saw every single franchise get multiple versions on that system, and you saw franchises that you hadn't seen in years get touched again. If you want to see your franchises, you need to support from the beginning. Because here's the system. Here's how it plays out. You buy the consoles, third parties start developing, which allows Nintendo time between their franchises, and they're not rushing to get stuff put out. They're taking their time, they're putting more effort into these games, and they're making sure they're all good. And then as more systems sell, we'll start seeing all these other franchises. If you do not buy a console in the beginning, you're dooming it to failure.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is you look at the Wii. We got Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. We got Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2, New Super Mario Brothers. We got Metroid Prime Trilogy. And we got Other M. May not be a fan of Other M, but you got another Metroid. We got Punch-Out, which we hadn't seen Punch-Out in years. We got multiple Kirby games. You know, it's like you're going to get a lot of... We got Pikmin 1 and 2 remakes. We were getting all kinds of stuff coming out of the woodworks, you know, and it was... Why? Because Nintendo had 100-something million units sold, and when they put a game out, it sold like gangbusters. And a game, like you said, I'm sorry, Metroid is a second-tier franchise, and it will never be a number 1 tier franchise. I love Metroid, and I can't play the Prime series because it messes me up, but I've bought every other Metroid game that they've ever put out, and I love the series. But at the end of the day, I know, and I'm a realist that knows that if people do not buy the console, I'm not going to see a Metroid. It's just that simple.
I do think Nintendo have to take some flack for that. I think Metroid has, in this day and age, has got all the kind of basics to be a top-tier game. I mean, it could easily, with the budget, the production value, and the marketing behind it, contend with a Halo. you know,
Yeah,
in
but at
terms
the
of
end of the
lore
day,
and
It has a possibility.
it has a possibility, but at the end of the day, those Prime games were award-winning games.
Yeah.
Everybody spoke highly about them. They did not sell.
Well, they broke the million. Each game did break the million barrier.
Million.
But
Come on,
they
what's
did.
a million? That's,
but again,
Alan, when you're looking at the amount of consoles that were in home, a million's nothing. Let's just look at it this way: if they sold 1 million copies of Metroid, and Mario Kart is selling 35 million, it's
it's not
a top tier game, and it never will.
Absolutely. I think though that's the problem is Nintendo. They don't give these games the. I'm trying to say this without sounding disingenuous to Nintendo. I look at games like Star Fox, F-Zero, the Metroid series. I suppose even Donkey Kong to a point. I see these games. We'll leave the first three. Those are the three I'll see because I see them as the best examples. Those are games that are beloved by fans, have got the everything you need to be the top tier, especially in this day and age. And yet Nintendo, they fall back on their laurels. So we get F-Zero GX, which I think is a really good entry for its flaws. Then we don't see an F-Zero on the Wii or the Wii U. And it just disappears from mindset. And that might be part of their plan is we're going to reboot it. But with Metroid Prime, it's like we had 2 really good games. We then had a really good third game. We then re-released them all with the new controls. Logic is, if you want to keep something in the mindset and grow it and make it a first party, there should have been a Metroid on the Wii U. A first-person game. But what we got was, on the Wii, Metroid Other M, which took the series completely in opposite direction. And with respect to it, it may have been the original, as it was the original creator, but it wasn't a very good game. It took the strong female character and kind of made her a bit of a weakling of, you can only have this when I tell you can have it. People didn't want that.
No.
And I think Nintendo need to realize that they need to culture and grow a franchise now in a mindset, and they need to pump. Like Metroid is space opera. It's a mega thing. It needs a production value that's worth it. I mean, you look at what they can get with Xenoblade Chronicles X. That game is amazing. Can you imagine a first-person open world explore Metroid game?
That would be awesome.
Like that. I mean,
visiting different planets and.
Yeah, Nintendo are their own worst enemies when it comes to, in terms of the second tier, making them worthwhile. I mean, look at Star Fox. It started as a tech demo. They seem to have rushed it to platinum, and now they're going, well, it's not coming out this year. We're going to fix up, and it'll be out next year. And it's like,
but that tells me, contrary to what you're saying, they do care. It's now they're looking at it and going, we know that if we rush this game out, it's not going to sell. Let's give it more time in the cooker. Let's let Platinum do what they do, and because from E3 to what we just saw recently, night and day. I think it's really turned around. So I think that they're heading in the right direction. The problem is you have games that sell like crazy, and let's be honest, Nintendo's worst run at a game is better than most developers' best.
Yeah.
It's when you look at a Zelda game and all that stuff, they'll delay them if they have to. I mean, look at the Zelda; they delayed it a whole year. So they're not afraid to delay a game if they think it's going to sell.
I don't think delay is the issue, because I think they would do that for any game, regardless of what ends up being they think they can make it better than it is. It just feels like these franchises are treated as afterthoughts to the Zeldas. I mean. What was it? We've got Hyrule Warriors, which is, for what it is, it's a niche game. It ticks the box for certain gamers. And then I look back at the GameCube and it's like we had Star Fox Adventures. It reviewed in the 7.5s. It was an average game, but I see it as one of those games that has huge potential as a new explorative action type RPG kind of game. And we haven't seen anything, and we probably never will because of the Rare influence of that game again. And it just always feels like Nintendo, these are the big guys, we'll have these guys and we'll churn them out. What I hope to see from NX is that they do announce it's going to have second year of launch, a high production value, first-person Metroid game, and I hope it blows us away.
See, and I think that people I think there's a lot of people under your mindset that are thinking like that. I don't think it's happening. I don't think that Retro Studios is working on another Metroid. I think they're going in another direction altogether, and I think that's gonna. And here's the problem: if Nintendo announces a new Metroid game, and this is what annoys me with some fans, is we want Metroid, we want Metroid, we want Metroid. Okay, here's Metroid, and it's not done by Retro, I guarantee you people will snap and flip out over it and be all upset about it.
Happened. But then that's on Nintendo. They need to temper expectations. If they know, and I mean, I'm sorry, we live in a digitally connected world that
That's true.
Folk are tweeting out what they want.
Yeah.
If Nintendo are, and they will be, tracking tweets and hashtags about what they're seeing, and it's not tracking with what they're making, it's on Nintendo to come out and say, we're working on a new Metroid, it may not be what you expect. That then tempers the expectation. They came out at E3, here's Federation Force.
Yeah.
The backlash wasn't because, again, the proof is in the pudding. We'll play that game, it's going to be great probably.
Yeah.
Fan reaction was, this isn't what we've been saying we want, this isn't what we expected. And then Nintendo were like, trust us. It's like, well, no. You've let this mindset kind of ferment over the last 2-3 years of this is what we expect. You have created the negative press. You've created the negative mindset towards one of your own games because you didn't manage the message correctly. If you know that your game is not going to be what the fans want, you're hardcore, the ones that are going to be there day one, you have no one but yourself to blame for when they go, what the are we watching?
WTF.
But does anybody believe that a game that's coming to the 3DS, a Prime game, truly going to be a Prime game?
Well,
I think the expectations are we want stuff, and we're acting like we're in shock when we don't get exactly that. It doesn't matter. It does not matter what Nintendo says we're giving to the fans. There's going to be a bunch of loud crybabies.
Oh, absolutely. But what they need to realize.
That's what annoys me because here's the thing: Retro is working on a game. Yes. Donkey Kong Country came out, what, 1.5, 2 years ago now?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot tell me that from that point to this point, they're just sitting back on, we don't know what we're going to make yet.
I have no doubt.
They've been since probably 6 months after they finished. They were up and running, actually worked. They were probably before they even finished the game. This is what people need to wake up and realize. More than half of that Retro team that worked on Prime is gone. They're at Microsoft Studios, and they're making Halo. You're not going to get... So my feeling is this. Forcing them to make another Metroid Prime is a mistake. That's my feeling.
I agree. I think the reason we're focusing on Retro is because it's the most fresh in the mind of this fan expectation thing. Yeah. But we can bring it back even to the Wii U's inception. Again, it's this kind of managing of expectations.
Yeah.
Nintendo had that developer video where you had Ken Levine and all these guys talking about Nintendo. That video is a great piece of marketing if you've got deals in place to lock down them making games.
Yeah.
But you've shown this video of Ken Levine, BioShock Infinite. Holy crap, we're going to get BioShock Infinite on the Wii U. And it never happens. Yeah. It's setting a level of expectation and then failing to deliver on it.
But but here's the thing, too. Maybe they were in negotiations to get BioShock Infinite.
Absolutely.
And because
don't
the
promise
fans...
it.
But don't insinuate it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If maybe they were insinuating because it was supposed to happen, but because the consoles didn't sell and the fans weren't buying third-party games, the bottom fell out from underneath it.
Yeah. But then we also had the E3 presentation where EA announced the unprecedented partnership. And that turned out to be, well, a Mass Effect 3...
Garbage.
And that was it. Yeah.
Listen, my feeling is this, and I'll say this all day long. I feel that the reason why third parties didn't sell is because we got inferior garbage.
Oh, definitely.
And not put out Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U. In the meantime, you're making the trilogy for PS3, Xbox 360. Why would any fan who owns a Wii U and owns those other consoles, because let's be honest, Most of us did. I owned a PS3, and then when the Wii U came out, I owned it. I owned a Wii. I owned a PS3. Alan, you have all 3 consoles right now.
I do too.
Miguel, you own all 3 consoles right now. I own 2 out of the 3 right now. You cannot tell me that you're going to put a game out on a system and expect people to go buy an inferior one. Why would I go buy Mass Effect 3?
Exactly.
When I could go buy 1, 2, and 3
for the same price.
redone for the same price. Get out of here.
Exactly.
You're off your rocker. Ubisoft, same thing. You're going to sit there and give us Assassin's Creed or Assassin's
Creed 3.
I'm losing it now. I'm foaming at the mouth.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
The rage guru is
You're
in
going
the
to give
house.
us Assassin's Creed 3 after you've already put it out on the other consoles.
Yep.
The thing's lagged out. It's garbage. Watch Dogs, you put it out 6 months after, and you expect it to sell.
Garbage.
You know, you're sitting there, and Batman Arkham City, you give us a half-baked version that comes out, and then you have the audacity to turn around to the fans and throw it on the fans and go, well, you don't buy our games.
Exactly.
And that's why.
But I think
Excuse
this
me,
comes...
you gave us garbage. That's why we didn't buy it. Because I have all the consoles, and I buy it where the best version is. And if you're giving me a version that lags out and doesn't run good, I'm not going to buy it.
But this comes back to the point, because it kind of circular back to what your original theory was. It's like, I'm going to buy your game. Yeah, I'm going to buy your system for one game. So what Nintendo need to do is come out and say, here's NX, this is what we're working on, and trust us, our bigger franchises are coming. And then you just have a montage video showing all the big franchises that they will be bringing, and that has to include a Star Fox, F-Zero, Metroid, Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong. If NX needs to win, Nintendo need to pull out all the stops, and they literally need to have every franchise at some stage in development represented on that system. Because,
but you know something, the fans that are screaming that they want the fans that are screaming that they want an F-Zero game, if they don't go buy Neo right now, they got nobody to blame but themselves.
I am all over that game. I watched a comparison video. It was like a breakdown by Digital Foundry, and they heaped praise on it. They said, yeah, it's a weird resolution setup, but you've got a game that could look at home on the PS4 or Xbox One. And it's going to scratch that itch that I want. It looks like an old school F-Zero game, and it's only like a 500 meg file, and this thing looks amazing.
And that alone just blows me away, is how the games that are playing on Nintendo are so small file sizes. I mean, Xenoblade's massive, but prior to Xenoblade, like, Mario Kart's only like 5 gig. That's insane to think that a game that looks that good is that small.
Yeah.
So,
but I agree. I think that the fans that are saying that really do need to reflect on how much money they actually have to spend.
Yeah.
And, if you want that game to work, you need to buy it. Yeah, okay, you're not going to have great launch games. No system ever has. But you want Nintendo to work, support them from the day one, and you will repay you. They always do.
Yeah. I think Nintendo, they could potentially shock us all with what they do launch with. I think potentially on the horizon, what I see that we could get is, I think we're going to get a Zelda. I think they're going to port that over. No doubt about that. I think Mario Maker moves over to it. It has
or Zelda Maker.
What's that? Yeah, but I'm just saying like what I think they're going to actually have at launch, not down the line. I'm talking at launch. I think Mario Maker moves from the Wii U to the NX, has to move over there. I think Splatoon, as big a game that is, you want that franchise to move over, because I think Splatoon should become your next Minecraft, where they just keep feeding that game stuff. Just keep feeding it weapons and maps and let it grow and let it take off. And then eventually when you do Splatoon 2, you can either keep those maps or do whatever, but that game needs to carry over somehow. And I think you're going to see Smash needs a carryover, but I don't know how they do that. That's going to be a little bit iffy.
Yeah.
But I think that
it's possible.
I think we see Pikmin 4, and I think we see Galaxy 3. I really do. I really do. Because did you read the article that they talked about on NBC, I believe last week, where the president slipped and said that they were working on Galaxy 3 or Super Mario Galaxy 3?
Yeah, he's working on Super Mario Galaxy, and it was like, that's a strange comment when all they had to say is he's working on Mario.
Yeah, he's working on the next Mario game. He said Galaxy. So makes me think that like we're going to see Galaxy 3. We're definitely going to see that first Zelda game get ported over. But I think we're going to see Pikmin, and I think you're going to get an announcement. We're going to bring Metroid. We're going to see Animal Crossing on there. They got to bring Animal Crossing at launch. I really believe in my heart of hearts that if they want to move consoles, there is a frenzied Animal Crossing fan base that if you give them a proper HD Animal Crossing day one, they will buy consoles and you'll move systems. I think that Nintendo is learning now, with all the love they're giving to Animal Crossing right now, they realize that that's their hit, that's their game, but they got to give a proper Animal Crossing game. You know, Happy Home Designer, it scratches a little itch, but it's not. You know, it's not the but at the same time, you can't be upset about Happy Home Designer because it's the same thing we just said. You know, they gave us a full-fledged Animal Crossing game with 3DS. They're basically just taking those models and doing something different with it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Amiibo Festival. It's not the greatest game in the world, but as an Animal Crossing fan, me and Tony play it and we love it. It's a lot of fun. It's not the first go-to game I play all the time, but occasionally when we're sitting around, we're bored, we look at each other, hey, you want to pop an Animal Crossing? You know, Amiibo Festival? Yeah, let's do it. And we just spend an hour laughing at the stupid dialogue and the stuff that's going on with the animals, and it's kind of cool. But I think that the smart move is to move Animal Crossing to the NX, and that'll get I want to see the Kid Icarus game too so bad.
Yes, a real good one for the system.
Yeah.
I would say if Nintendo continues to do what they're doing with Splatoon, always giving like a DLC and keep making it fresh, adding new things to it, and they constantly do that for most of the games that will be released on the NX, I think that will be a great thing. Everybody will say, wow, now it's just coming to the system. We don't know what to expect, but something's coming. Yeah. I think with that idea, and they transport that to the NX, I think you're going to see a lot of fans and people coming back to the Nintendo fan club, so to speak.
Yeah, I think the one thing I want to go back that you said, Alan, was that they should come out and they should tweet something or something. I think they're in a position that it doesn't matter what they say, they're going to get attacked. And you can say that like, hey, just saying that like, saying that, oh well, the Metroid you're expecting isn't going to be what you're expecting. Could you imagine if they said that? The internet would explode and people would be flipping out. So it's better that they just don't say anything than to say
That's
something.
True.
Like that.
I think it's better that they just keep it quiet instead of saying, "Oh, we have something and maybe Metroid." And then I hate to say it, but I think that game was garbage for the 3DS. I looked at it and I was like, "Wow, what a disappointment." But then I'm saying, "Okay, this is just to satiate the fans, of Metroid until they come up with something big." But you know what?
Yeah.
I'm still indifferent on that.
Well, the mistake is this. If we got Triforce Heroes and we didn't get Link Between Worlds, people would be pissed.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll admit that.
This is basically, Triforce Heroes is basically here's a little bit of Zelda extra for you. Because you like this, we have these assets already going. Here's a little additional. We don't have time to make a full-fledged sequel to Link Between Worlds. Here's your little taste, to keep you happy and all that. Federation Force is, I feel, a similar thing, but the problem is they just didn't give us the Metroid game before it. And I think that's the problem. And I think that they basically had a new franchise per se in the works, something different with this Federation Force, and they thought, you know what, it's spacey, it's first person, let's give it Metroid, let's give it a Metroid feel.
They tagged their name on it.
Yeah, they tagged the name because let's be honest, you put a game out called Federation Force, ain't nobody buying it. You know what I mean? But if you put a game that says Metroid Prime Federation Force, people are going to look at it, and people are looking at it. They may not be happy about it, but they're at least looking at it. So
that's true.
Gives us seconds. I agree, but I just think Nintendo sometimes are their worst enemy when it comes to setting expectations higher.
I agree with you. Just like I said during the about the announcements, they put this limit or this expectation way up here because we got Cloud. Now everybody's thinking like, well, if they're working with Square, and we never thought they were going to go back to Square, we're going to get Nathan Drake, and we're going to get Master Chief, and and it ain't going to happen. And people are going to be so pissed. And I think with Cloud coming in, the first expectation is, and now with all the comments from Phil Spencer and back and forth, we're getting Banjo, no doubt. And if it doesn't happen, you're going to have people flipping out and all upset about it. And why? Because Nintendo should have never announced Cloud. They should have kept that one in their pocket until they did this whole event thing. And I think that's where they kind of
slip up.
Yeah, big time. And if we don't get Shovel Knight, people are going to flip out. And it's
I would.
Yeah, but who do we have to blame? We don't have Nintendo to blame for that. We have ourselves to blame for that because we put our expectations way up there for it. It's just not going to happen. So, all right, we are. Man, going into this segment, I was like, man, are we going to be able to fill out a whole show? And leave it to me to start ranting, and we are over.
Angry rants. I'm the one that does the angry rants. I'm the Scottish guy. We're always angry.
So we are going to wrap this up now. We're going to go through all our spiel and all that stuff, and I'm going to mess up a million times, so get ready for this, people. But
get comfy, folks. Lucky for you, you can edit it down to the perfect take. We've got to sit here and watch it.
I love it. I sit there and mess up a million times, and then I'm like, when I edit it, it's all seamless, and I'm like, this is perfect. I'm amazing. I'm amazing at the edit wheel. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody for listening. If you listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher, if you watched us on YouTube, we really sincerely appreciate that. Miguel, tell everybody where they can reach you and follow you at.
You could reach me at Super Night Arm at Twitter, or if you want to just email me, it's supernightarmor@gmail.
And Allan is at Allan_Paxton. He is on Twitter. You really need to get Instagram, man. Seriously.
What is this Instagram?
You need to get it. I am the Geek
Sounds like a drug dealing service.
It does,
Instagram.
but it's not. It's you get an Instagram. So, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the Geek Gurus. That is all. Peace, mother.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Adios.